Yes.
Being the first multinational company to sign Pledge, what prompted you to get on board with MACC? Would you like to elaborate?
Yep. So if you refer to the code of conduct that we have, it is one of our very important values to ensure that the ethics and compliance, yeah, will be upheld in the way that we conduct our business and operations in Malaysia and in BP around the world. So it is actually part of our value, and we see that it is very important to declare it to our business partner and suppliers so that they can actually then come together with us and understanding this very important aspect of the anti-corruption, anti-competition, and a lot of other laws that come in place, because when we opening up our boundaries and borders, we will be subjected to all these rules and regulation beyond what you see in Malaysia. So with that, it really prompted us to participate in the signing of the Integrity Pledge, and we are honored to be the first company, corporate multinational, to be able to actually come in and support and be part of that pledge.
Next question. Besides BG, how's the progress on the integrity pledges?
Progress in terms of what?
In terms of the
Numbers.
public, the numbers,
As as to date, there are 103 companies, MNCs and also local companies, have signed the Corporate Integrity Pledge. That is the national figure. So we are still promoting, because we want every, if possible, every company to sign this. So when everybody sign this pledge, they will subsequently implement anti-corruption program and also integrity enhancement program. So if everybody do a bit of their part, so ultimately we'll have hopefully a corrupt-free business environment in Malaysia. So the signing of this pledge is only the first step. The follow-up action will be implementing the programs. So in this respect, the MACC will assist if they request, in terms of educating the employees, giving expert advice on how to detect corruption risks and how to address those risks.
So, Dato', how serious the corruption in the private sector?
Well, to be frank, we have not done any study yet to find out how serious it is. But based on our records, corruption in private sector is as serious as the public sector. Meaning there are corruption in both sectors, and the law covers both sectors. Yeah, we can investigate those involved, whether they are from the public or private sector, and we can arrest them.
What's the perception like? I mean, there's a perception that it's really the public sector, but you mentioned the private sector also involves.
In terms of we face this problem of perception. People perceive that corruption is bad, but reality is not. Based on our figures, we receive annually around between 5 to 6,000 reports on corruption. There are a lot more reports which does not contain any corruption element. They still give to us. Alright, so well, it's our job to investigate.
Any question?
Atau maybe some other soalan on the case dekat Kelantan.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
with regard can.
If we can, we just
Yeah,
stick
But what I want to say here, with regard to your question, we still have people in the private sector perceived as giving is not an offense, but receiving bribe is an offense. So we need to educate more on this, because the law covers givers as well as receivers commits the same offense and will face the same penalties. In the public sector, we have this campaign, fight the givers. So we educate the public sector that if person from the private sector tries to or offer them bribes, then they should report to the authority.
What's,
And
what's
yeah.
the I would say the main sector, the private sector, which this problem seems to be rampant?
You mean the which industry?
Yeah, which industry?
Well, I cannot say the industry. I would say the scope of work. In the private sector, we receive more. We receive a lot of reports on corruption in with regard to procurement. So I think this area you have to look into, because there is a lot of opportunities for corrupt practices in the procurement processes.
Is there a rough figure, ballpark figure?
We don't have we don't have the figure. Sorry.
Can we get a chance to other media? Any questions? Susan, Nana?
Any more questions?
Okay.
Other questions?
Yeah.
Other questions? Okay.
But not on investigation cases. I don't want that to dominate the subject matter of today's event.
Any question to Mr. Wright? Do you have anything for Mrs. Nancy? Questions?
Can I make a general comment? And I attach a lot of importance being here today to witness the signing, the exchange of documents on this integrity pledge. I mean, the British government has passed legislation covering anti-corruption, or a Bribery Act. It attached a lot of importance to major British companies, and BP being a classic example, upholding the highest standards of integrity, of setting out the pledges, setting out the commitments to values that we regard as synonymous with what Britain represents overseas through its companies. And we have ourselves interaction with the MACC and stand ready to support that organisation in all its efforts to combat corruption in Malaysia. And as Dada was just highlighted, one area of particular concern is in the procurement sector. And it's an area that British companies come to us and talk about and say, we need your help to ensure a level playing field. So we will be doing all we can to support British business in achieving that level playing field, and where necessary, working closely with the MACC to achieve that.
Okay, can I make just one clarification? I mentioned earlier that when you asked me how serious is corruption in private sector and public sector, comparing the two is more or less the same. But it doesn't mean that the level of corruption in the country is serious. I hope you get that right. All right. Yeah. But we get less support from the private sector in reporting corruption cases. So that's why the figures always show more the government side being arrested. Because the private sector, they don't want to report to us.
Why? What are the reasons?
Well, we haven't conducted any study on this, but I believe that that is part of business transaction, which is not. I don't believe if you don't bribe, you don't get business. You still can get business.
So is there any plans to conduct a study?
You mean a study on
The giving.
the giving? No, I based on my on our reports that we received and the number of arrests that we made.
Okay.
Just now we talk about the procurement or the it is one of the area that's been a key focus for most of the companies, yeah. And as a British company, I believe that when we partner with our customers and suppliers, to let them know our code of conduct is really critical. And the suppliers, especially, we are trying to help the Malaysian suppliers to actually meet the standard as well in the way that we procure, and it is a very important tool for them to be associated with an organization that is clean and uphold the integrity, because that carries a lot of weight into the procurement exercise moving forward. It is not just about price and services, it is also about whether are you, you know, have a very good process and standard if you are going for some international bidding, and the way that you are going to go into a tender process, that carries more weight moving forward. So I guess that that itself will also help a lot of our suppliers and our customers to really understand that if you want to deal with us, we are clean. So make sure that you are clean as well. Yeah. So that is really important.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.